The only real test to intelligence is getting what you want out of life. You have to be smart in the way to essentially hack reality to get what you want, and then you have to be wise enough to figure out if that very thing you want will be worth pursuing. Because people often want their foot into the door into their lives, but you have the key to letting in who you want in the room. If you aren't able to do this, you fail. The game is all about leverage. Leverage is the most important thing on this planet. Connections are leverage, capital is leverage, posting on social media is leverage, labor is a horrible way of leverage. Actually give a fuck and create something that has a value to other people, because if you don't, what are you doing? The funny thing is, difficulty is relative. You can perceive it to be hard or easy, but the only person stopping you from achieving is your mind. People can guide you to do this and that, but that's all they can ever do. Don't mix their thoughts with your thinking. It will create hell. People don't tell you that life is about how well you manage risk, not how hard you work. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. You can work harder all you want, but if the task you are doing is important and urgent at the wrong order, you fail. The reason I find it to be so important is that people will notice that you're on something and you'll be attractive by default. And everyone will understand that you have this aura that people want so badly but cannot fully comprehend what it is. I know there are so many people who play lots of stupid games, chasing status, sex appeal, honor rolls, and meaningless validation from people who wouldn't notice if you were gone tomorrow. Let that sink in. Stupid people play stupid games to end up with stupid rewards. They obsess with temporary wins, hollow achievements, and the illusion of being somebody, all while losing sight of who you are. Chasing leaves you feeling emptier than when you started. The only way to end this cycle is to play the right games at the right time. Look, the thing is, people mess with people all the time, and the secret is that it's a winner-take-all market. You can't get any good results without being extraordinarily good at whatever you want. You could be smart all you want and have mountains of information, but if you don't execute it, it's pretty worthless. How smart are you? You don't have to be the smartest person in the room, you just need to find a way to get the outcomes you want with their help. If someone has to tell you where to be, what to wear, what you should do, and who you should be, then you aren't free. You can't be a millionaire by working a 9 to 5. You can't be financially free by relying on one source of income. You can't be successful if you don't take any risk. You can't be ahead if you follow the crowd. And you can't be a winner if you never start. If you keep shutting that inner voice inside of you to follow someone else's dreams, you'll be depressed, broken, and full of regret that the only thing you want to do is cry in a closet with the music on full blast, drowning in the sorrow of what you could have accomplished. Remember the days of being so young that you had no addictions, no care in the world, time flowed so differently, it was so effortless, everyone and everything would naturally come to you. But then all of a sudden, life changed so drastically because everyone expects you to be someone at a given time frame, and all these predetermined outcomes of how people perceive you become true. And here you are realizing the opportunities of what you could have been, then you feel stuck. But my question is, why does it matter? People will all die within 3 generations, whether you like it or not. If you keep letting yourself be pushed by other people's opinions, you will fall hard the moment you let control of that person die. In this moment, you'll be so shaken that the ground gets pulled beneath you. So lock in and focus on the mission. Don't chase any idols, person, or status. Only chase freedom, peace, and the ability to create that path. Because people can ever guide you so far, but they can never fully understand what you want to the degree of what you want. Why would you ever go ahead and compromise your health, your wealth, your peace, and time for someone else that probably doesn't matter, that has a worse health than you, that is living a 9 to 5, and is with people that probably doesn't matter, to end up in a position where you can't go ahead and defend yourself at all? The only real secret to play the game of life is to live as if you were a kid. Because kids
don't know how to use the seesaw, so we're gonna watch the tutorial.
Always. It will be a cat and mouse game unless you reason with the kid. If you let any addiction, any problem arise, it kills curiosity and drive, then you get stuck. The thing is, you've been here in the same spot for years, like nothing is working. You keep relapsing on pointless activities that have no urgency and no importance, leading you feeling compromised mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You are very jealous that people are getting rewarded disproportionately. You are even more so jealous that everyday people like you are getting rewarded for being themselves. But then you lose it when your friend gets the very same thing you've been doing. The secret is that authenticity, not giving a fuck, self-improvement is the ultimate cheat code to life, and yet very few people capitalize on making small investments that are leveraged significantly, because we know that the days feel long, but the years feel so short. There are so many things that people really weak, but there are so many things that make you stronger than a majority of people if people are so weak. It's not hard to become a master if you lock in your interest, because people like it when you try new things, create new things. People are dying for bolder ideas, something new to break out of the cycle. This is where all the fun begins, because as you take control, you can allow however many opportunities at your fingertips. The bigger the dream, the bigger the price. You have to understand that everything has consequences. And with that being said, it will take blood, sweat, tears, doubt, and sleepless nights to pull off something that hasn't been done before. But the secret is you only have to win a couple of times to win really, really big, where it is to the point where it's not even funny. That's why leverage plus judgment plus capital plus knowledge is critical to making your dream possible, because the deeper you get obsessed into whatever you are learning, you outperform people by a long shot. And when you are in this state, it feels like play. You need the capital to buy the services and products needed to pull your dream into a reality. You also need the judgment to create great decisions that are affected by people's thoughts. If you are right, you will win. My challenge for you is to take the risk. Gains are unlimited, but losses are limited. Ask the girls, invest more, learn everything, become a perpetual learner by reading everything. Talk to people who you are curious about. Go to the gym to take care of your body. If you're scared of rejection, the only real concern is being ignored. But if she does text you or holds attention with you, you win. You could schedule follow-ups, ask deeper questions, and gradually build credibility. If she keeps responding, you have multiple opportunities. If she invests time, then you have leverage. The only true loss is being ignored. But if you create the value, your gains are unlimited. Reading books is probably one of the most leveraged activities you can do, because you can get 6 years of your life, an exponential amount of experiences in hours. But yet many people don't understand this, because reading is an active activity and most of us participate in it. The best thing about reading is that it's really cheap and you only need to spend time to make the gains on whatever you are reading about. So this could be like reading the 5 types of wealth and understanding how time, social, financial, mental, and physical health are important, and how they all contribute to living that life that people dream about having. Because whether you like it or not, You want lasting relationships, fun opportunities that you can make memories with, and in a body that could do the heavy lifting. Whether you want to believe it or not, our time is sensitive, and the opportunities that you have are what others have been waiting for to get their entire lives. What is really interesting is that in life, there are critical points of development where it is significantly easier to become someone or obtain a material possession than others. When you were young, your brains were developing all the foundational skills. The best time to learn languages, habits, mindsets that change your future was in this time period. But as you age to a young adult, you have a tendency to take more time to pull it off, because it makes sense to leverage your time for high yielding assets. If you have high agency, there has never been a much better time to be alive. Because whether you like it or not, it will be 2026, and I know you don't want to be ahead and stuck in the same spot over and over again, relapsing on the wrong things at the wrong time to be in a spot where people lose value, or worse, yourself. Information nowadays is becoming so mainstream that the strategy to winning is to become an agent. You can learn what you want, when you want, with who you want to learn. You could create what you want, when you want, with who you want. Because information is so readily accessible, it is becoming outsourced at an alarming pace than what happened 2 years with the rise of AI. Because AI is becoming everything we need it to be. You could buy an assistant, and then if you have a high interest to learn something, you will significantly get better in 6 weeks. Lock in. The thing is, many institutions are great at wasting time and unnecessary effort. Most people don't understand that making progress is disproportional. Because what is really interesting is that if we took a kid in the current broken education system, that person will be there for 8 hours and ends up forgetting all the content. What is so shocking is that 2 hours of deep focus with high interest is so outweighed by a person who spends 8 hours in the exact same classroom learning with minimal interest. Because what this means is that everyone is leaving the institutions. For example, DeFi was an exit to Wall Street. Social media was an exit from mass media. Homeschooling and AI was an exit from traditional broken education system. Remote work is an exit from 9 to 5. Creator economy is an exit from employment. Because becoming an agent is the only real way to win. Because nobody controls your time, nobody can monetize you, nobody knows how much you truly know, and nobody controls your freedom and the life you will live. Social media makes everyone's problem your problem. Everyday drama is filled in the air, and this is the case because dramatic headlines drive more eyeballs. The thing is, too much of anything is bad for you, which is pretty obvious, but nobody teaches you that solving what society needs at scale is your problem. You don't need to find out what the next billion-dollar idea is, because the secret is that you're standing on a gold mine searching for the next perfect diamond gem. You don't need the voices of 100,000 people guiding you to make a decision. You need to figure out how to help others, because if you keep listening, you will lose your peace and power. You can't grow if you're constantly putting other people's needs before yours. You can't have a portion if you don't take the risks. Too much availability kills your worth. It creates an identity of you that others don't want. The only way to have the life that you truly want is to take the risk, accept the consequences, grow from it, and yield the achievements. True progress can only come from some sense of belonging. This can be like obtaining the perfect health, achieving inbox zero, for your mind, eating healthier because what you eat is what you are, look maxing and glow ups because people find you attractive and you want to be with people who value your worth. Communication is never hard for someone who actually wants you. Most of my life, I've been misunderstood. Like my words would be lost in translation, and my intentions would be misjudged. I would say one thing and then people would appear to know what I would be talking about, but they don't. It was as if I was speaking to the wall, leaving me in a cycle of frustration and I didn't know what to do. I realized that the issue wasn't how I was interacting with others, but who was listening. True understanding doesn't require conviction or persuasion. It requires authenticity to allow the right people to hear what you have to say. Because if she wants you, it will be effortless, but you can tell if she's the one without forcing anything. Life is a single player game. That right there changed my life in 1 week because knowing what you want instead of playing multiplayer with people who matter gets boring. Life has a very interesting viewpoint when you play multiplayer. You get caught up competing with goals that don't matter. You put in so much effort and so much commitment on a useless task that you aren't able to fully comprehend because the progression leads you to burning out. Why can't it be done in less time than it's proposed? Graduating from high school and college both have one thing in common. It takes around 4 years to get ahead. But why? Is it because 4 years is truly necessary, or is it because the default structure that everyone follows without question? The truth is, we often use the allotted time for a task, not because we need it, but because it's given to us. This is known as Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion. If you are told to do something that will take you 4 years, you pace yourself to fit that timeline. But what happens when you challenge that assumption? The secret is that when you intentionally reduce the time allotted for a task, you force yourself to focus, eliminate distractions, and work so much more efficiently. Because constraints create urgency, deadlines push progress, because if something truly takes 4 years, fine. But if it doesn't, why waste the extra time? The real question is, how long does it take, but how fast can I get it done without sacrificing quality? Antifragility is what life is all about. People are designed to go ahead and fail. There is no such thing as stable. And even if you were living a stable life, it would be very boring. I know you had those moments where you wished you should have just taken the risk because it was in your favor, but you didn't. Sometimes we get so close to creating action we never done before, but something stops us dead in our tracks. You hesitated. You have butterflies in your stomach when you think of that girl walking past. Maybe it was fear, rejection, doubt, or the comfort of not saying anything. Later, when you play this exact same moment, you realize that I could have done this instead of falling short. Sometimes we get so close, we let comfort win. We let the fear of discomfort convince us that staying in the same place is infinitely better than making action in an unfamiliar pace. But life doesn't reward fragility. It rewards people who embrace chaos and entropy. The only way is through, so open the door and win. Growth can ever come from tension, from resistance, from stepping into the unknown and adapting to whatever comes next. Being 1% doesn't mean you have a 1% chance. This is the common misconception that people don't understand, is that people think they have a 1% chance, but the reality is that the chances are significantly higher if you go ahead and make consistent progress. Because did you know that if you get 1% better every day, you end up getting 37 times better in a year? Because your chances of success aren't fixed like many people believe. Success is not a lottery. It's a equation based on consistency, persistence, and gratitude. Because when you are consistent, when you make consistent progress, the odds of you winning drastically shift in your favor. Because most people underestimate that small improvements stack up. They think that massive success comes from one big moment, one breakthrough, one big idea, but in reality, it comes from these small choices, and then once it works, you look like an overnight success. Because the real difference that those who make it and those who didn't isn't talent, it's commitment. The ones reflect on how they learn, how they can do better, how they can consistently improve. Because being in the same spot kills their progression. Time is the biggest resource we all have. We cannot get any time back, ever. The secret is that we live in an age of infinite leverage, where time has never been more valuable. We can never have more of it, but we can leverage capital and knowledge to create an outcome that hasn't been out before.